Okay, so this is going to be a quick little impromptu video. I'm currently in a hotel room in Miami, about to go to the NBA Finals, but as you can see, it is raining outside, so there is not much for me to do at the moment. AI is something that it's so hard to talk about sometimes because it's so new and its progression and its efficiency is escalating so quickly that anything we say right now could be outdated in 3 months, but I'm going to do my best to keep it current. And I think the biggest question on everyone's mind is how fucked are we? Is AI going to take your job? Well, I think the question you should be asking yourself is, are you a person who relies on skill, or are you an actual creative? Do you conceive ideas, or are you someone who just takes orders, an order taker who executes commands? So for example, if you are a video editor, a photo retoucher, a colorist maybe, you're probably just taking directions from someone else, someone who's managing a project and who is subcontracting you to do some work. And unfortunately, I see those type of people being completely screwed when it comes to AI, because the technology is getting so good, like retouching software that can retouch an entire face and it looks so damn good, like Retouch for Me is an example. And it's so efficient and it's so fast and it's just so much cheaper. And there's really no incentive for anybody to hire someone at a human rate to do that kind of work that AI can do in seconds. And unfortunately, people just think about the bottom line. Businesses do. I've got several clients already who have privately told me that they're pretty much salivating at the mouth with some of the technology that's coming out, because they know what it means. It means that they can keep their budgets smaller, and smaller budgets means more profits. And that's what it comes down to. That's all they care about. If they can get results that are good enough, as good, or even better, then it's good enough. And for a lot of things, good enough is good enough. So is someone going to care that an F-150 ad on Instagram or some gym bro who's trying to sell you some protein powder is using AI created content? No. But you're world building and you're creating things that ask the bigger questions of life, that comment on society, that hold a mirror to the world, that demonstrate a unique point of view on life. You know, art, actual art. I don't think you're going to have to worry that much. That's not to say that people aren't going to try to make art using AI, like legitimate art. But I think when it comes to the stuff that people actually want to consume, I think human-made art is going to be the new flex. I'm serious. I think the price of human-made art is going to go up. And I think if you're an actual artist, if you're somebody who can move people, like, you're going to do great. And as a matter of fact, you're going to thrive. Now, what AI is going to do is it's going to shrink, dramatically shrink, the amount of people who are doing creative type work. But most people who are doing creative type work aren't doing that kind of stuff. Most people are editing pimples out of a girl's ass in a rap video, or just, creating content for a brand. And yeah, unfortunately, day-to-day asset management and creation for marketing tools are going to be AI driven, and a lot of people are going to lose work. But I think when people want to flex their budgets, when people do have extra money to dole out, they're going to want to stand out. And the way you're going to stand out in a world driven by AI generated content is to have something crafted by a human being. It's the same reason why, for example, we can all buy furniture from IKEA that's made in a factory and assemble it ourselves, but many of us still choose to pay a premium for custom-made furniture, for a custom-made coffee table, or hell, the barrel that I have in my house that holds my liquor is a custom-made piece of wood, and I paid a pretty penny for it. So there's always going to be people who are going to have an appetite and are going to seek those uniquely human um, original things. And it's going to be the same thing with movies, right? One of the biggest issues right now with the writer's strike, which is going to be very interesting where it goes, is the use of AI for creating source material for original content. It's a big sticking point for the writers, and the studios don't want to budge on it because the studios know that they can save tons of money by generating AI written scripts. Now, right now, those scripts are garbage. Like an AI can't write a script at the moment, but they're banking on the idea that AI is going to be good enough at the very least to come up with some derivative garbage, some remake of a remake. And given with what audiences are flocking to in movies these days and what gets produced, it's probably good enough. And so if you're just going to write the next generic romantic comedy that's just a rehash of every other romantic comedy we've ever seen, or just another generic Marvel flick that really serves no purpose other than to keep the IP relevant so that you can sell more toys and t-shirts at Disney World, yeah, AI is probably going to take your job. And the people in the VFX houses who are, compositing 10,000 VFX shots for one film are all going to be out of work. But if you are writing Killers of the Flower Moon, or if you're Quentin Tarantino, who else? Paul Thomas Anderson creating There Will Be Blood. I don't think those are the kinds of concepts that an AI is going to be able to create, because those are uniquely human experiences and human perspectives. And AI, as far as I know it, is not self-aware, and it's not going to be able to dig into that. It might be able to casually create something that feels familiar in that realm, but it's not going to come close. Now, the flip side of that is that a lot of the generic tasks that AI is going to do is going to make life easier for everyone. So, for example, with retouching, with what I do, I have been using AI actually for years now, sky replacement software. Hell, this video, I'm using Adobe's Audio Enhancer AI, which completely negates my necessity to understand post-production for audio, which is honestly the weakest thing in my box of skills. Like, I know just enough about audio to be good enough, but for anything complicated, I might actually have to hire like somebody who knows what they're doing in post. But for shit like this, for interviews, for when you just need good, clean audio that sounds crisp, yeah, I'm just gonna throw that file into an AI software and let it do its thing. Hell, even color grading, right? I'm using what's this software I'm using by Color Lab AI? FilmLooks. Is it FilmLooks? No. I'm going to write it in the caption because I can't remember the name of the software right now. But anyway, it's an AI-driven film emulation software, and it is the best I've ever used. It's better than Film Convert. It's better than Dehancer. And the point I'm making is that we're not going to stop AI, and the people who are going to thrive in this environment are going to use AI to enhance their workflows. So it's not going to do anyone any good to try to stop the momentum, to try to, save everyone's jobs. It's just the reality of the situation. So again, this technology is just meant to make everyone's life easier. But art has never been specifically about the skills. Like, somebody's artistic intention has nothing to do with whether they can replace a sky effectively in Photoshop. It's an important thing to do to be able to replace a sky and make it look realistic and actually sell the results. But nobody is buying your photo for the sky replacement. They're buying the whole thing comprehensively for what it says, for what it makes them feel. And if it's just for commercial content, then they don't give a fuck about that anyway. They just want to make money. So they're going to do with whatever gives them the most profit. But if someone is buying a photo to hang on their wall because they want something that means something to them, then it is more about the skills behind it. It's about the human element that AI cannot replace. And I would argue that when it comes to art, the process is just as valuable as the final result. So if you take two images side by side, and one of them was created by an AI and the other one was created by an actual human artist, and you tell me that the person in that portrait maybe died of cancer 6 months ago and their last dying wish was to leave a legacy portrait behind for those they loved, because maybe they've always wanted to be photographed in a beautiful, professional way, and they've never done it. I don't know. Just something that resonates with people. Which photo is going to be more valuable? I don't think I need to tell you. I think we all know which one is going to move people more. So I guess the question is, can AI make you laugh? Can it make you cry? Can it make you sit there and wonder the existential void of life and help you find a meaning in a meaningless world? The way art does, the way art asks us these such critical questions about life. And maybe it will be. Maybe in 6 months, I'm going to eat my words and it's going to change. But as of right now, I don't see that happening. So if you are somebody who has a creative set of tools, a skill set, and you currently make a good living utilizing those tool sets, making assets, making marketing materials for brands, for clients, being commissioned to do stuff, I think you're going to have to take a very long, hard look at your future and figure out if you're going to get replaced. And it's really hard to tell how impactful this is going to be. But if you look at the writing situation, right? Copywriters, people who are writing copy for Instagram ads, people who are writing articles for blogs and shit like that, they're already getting replaced by AI. Even though the AI is not perfect, like as it is right now, AI is not a very good writer, but it's good enough just to create content, to generate clicks, and that's all these people care about. Now, are you going to want to read a novel written by an AI or a personal essay about a very personal experience, a travel diary? Maybe not, probably not. So when it comes to like creating fresh, original ideas or documenting something about the human experience, I think you're safe. I think if you're doing that, you're going to be okay. And as a matter of fact, I think the demand for that kind of stuff is going to grow as people are going to seek more authentic experiences. Look, every restaurant is going to have the capability in the next 5 to 10 years of being completely automated. And something like a McDonald's or a Chipotle or a Starbucks, or even like a more casual restaurant like a Chili's or an Outback Steakhouse, they're all going to probably utilize that technology to be more profitable. And we're all going to be okay with it. We're all going to go to Chipotle and we're going to order our burrito bowls and it's going to be handed to us by a robot. We're not going to interact with a single human and we're not going to give a fuck because we're just hungry and we want to eat. But are people going to stop going to Michelin-starred restaurants? No, probably not. People are still going to have an appetite for human-made food and a human-made experience with an actual waiter. And that's something that AI will not be able to replicate, is a human experience, an authentic experience. So hold on to that thought when you contemplate your future. I think it's going to matter. Now, look, certain genres, like we're just going to stick to photography for right now, but they're safe, right? If you're any type of photojournalist and you're documenting events, obviously AI is not going to be able to do that. However, I mean, there are some cameras right now that they don't even have lenses or sensors anymore. They just like upload what they see into an AI software. I don't think that's going to fly when it comes to authentic photojournalism, and people aren't going to want that when they want to seek something authentic. Same thing with like weddings. I don't think people are going to want AI photos of their wedding. People are going to want the real thing experience. So wedding photographers, you're all safe. You're good. You've got other things to worry about, but AI is not going to take your job. Though when it comes to a lot of areas of commercial photography, yeah, I would be very concerned. You know, there are, of course, other aspects to consider, right? There's a lot of issues around the legality of AI, copyright, etc. And for the record, I do think they are copyright violations because we're not consenting to having our images repurposed in this way. But we don't know how that's going to turn out. Like all of the stuff I'm saying right now is absent of any kind of government intervention, which there very well might be, because maybe the government's going to realize it's not in our best interest to have massive losses of jobs. And this is very different because disruptive technologies have always displaced workers, but it's always taken years for that transition to happen. It's not an overnight thing. And usually those workers end up finding other areas to develop skill sets in. So yeah, it might kill an industry, like when the automobile probably killed, horses and buggies. But a lot of those people ended up working at car factories, and those people had jobs. I don't know if it's going to be the same kind of smooth transition with AI. I think it's going to be more dramatic, more instant. I'm thinking maybe the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to really start seeing people's livelihoods impacted. And I don't know that those people are necessarily going to find better jobs or other jobs. I don't know. Because a lot of the stuff we do right now, like a lot of the retouching we're doing right now, is going to be done by some junior level employee who knows how to prompt. Prompting is going to be a skill set, but it's going to be like a junior level skill set that we're all going to know how to do, right? Like typing. And somebody with fewer skills than you, with these AI tools, who's going to demand less money, is going to be able to get the same kind of results that we're getting now, no matter how skilled you are at what you do. So think about that. Like, really think about that. I've been thinking about it a lot. Me personally, I shoot architecture. You all know this by now. I do some filmmaking, I do corporate videos, and I do a lot of, I would say, commercial architecture as well, because not all of my clients are architects. Some of them are hospitality brands, etc. And I'm already thinking which one of my clients are completely going to replace me. Those are going to be the commercial ones, for sure. I have a client who's a cruise line. I think they're definitely going to replace me. But architects, maybe. I've seen the kind of stuff I can generate in Midjourney, for example, when it comes to architecture, and it looks really fucking good. I'm not going to lie. I'm like impressed, shocked, amazed. A lot of that stuff looks even better now than a lot of the stuff I can shoot. And it doesn't have to wait for the perfect conditions, which really frustrates me because I often do. Or I have to create them. I have to make my own light, etc. Or, force it in Photoshop and spend hours like compositing, pen tooling, masking, and things like that. And here it is making these amazing results in seconds. And we're going to get to the point where people can just take photos with their iPhones and upload it to an AI generator, and they're going to come out with beautiful, corrected, color balanced, verticals fixed, windows replaced, call outs removed, like fire extinguishers, exit signs, things like that. And you're going to be able to skip the entire production process. And yeah, so we're going to see who is going to just settle for that and who's going to want a very unique human vision and perspective on the world. And those people are going to pay for it. They might pay for it less. They might decide that, hey, for certain projects, let's just use AI, but maybe for our vanity projects, let's hire a human photographer. And that human photographer is going to be very lucky and they're going to be making a lot of money. But yeah, jury's going to be out on that. So anyway, that's just something to think about. My advice to everybody is to ride the remaining wave. It's still a couple of years away. Don't lower your rates. Make one last bag. Clean this industry out. Don't lower your rates. Take every last penny you can get and then cash out and figure something else out. For me personally, I'm transitioning. I'm still going to shoot architecture. I'm not giving up. It's not like I'm quitting. That's something that people don't seem to understand. They're like, oh, well, if you're so scared of AI, does that mean you're just going to quit photography? These very small-minded people who have no vision, are incapable of any kind of like self-reflection or perspective, who don't see that AI is going to, that what you're seeing from AI right now is just the tip of the iceberg. But anyway, I digress. I'm looking forward to being more of an artist, to being more of the guy who drives the bus creatively and less of just a technician, because that's really what a lot of the jobs that I do are. I'm essentially a technician who's executing someone else's creative. Sometimes I'm able to exercise my own creative, but a lot of times, especially the higher paying jobs, I'm just executing someone else's vision. And that's really what you got to ask yourself. Are you a technician or are you an artist? I'm still going to develop my business. I am not closing shop. I'm still going to have architecture clients. I'm still going to have photography clients. I'm still going to be a photographer. But over the next couple of years, that's going to change dramatically. And yeah, there might be some elements of my business that are just going to dissolve because they're just going to be irrelevant. I won't be needed anymore. And that's okay, because there are other exciting opportunities with my creative skill set that I'm going to be able to take advantage of. And I'm actually looking forward to prioritizing my own creative visions for once and having no choice but to do it. In an era where all the images that we're seeing, that we're saturated with, are going to be of questionable origin, and assuming that there's no kind of legislation that forces some kind of AI nutrition label to tell people just how much of an image is fake, I think it's going to have a very existential effect on people where they're not going to really know or care about what's real. And any type of good art that's human made is going to be looked at skeptically because you're not going to know. So I think if you're an artist documenting your work, it's important now. It's important in the era of social media, but it's going to be more important than ever so that people can have a peace of mind that the thing that they're admiring is authentic. And I think it's going to add a lot of value. Anyway, I just had these thoughts percolating in my head, and if I didn't get them out now, I wasn't going to, and I would have forgotten. So this video isn't as polished. It's just straight to the point, and I just wanted to get these thoughts out there. I'm going to update. I'm going to, I don't know, probably follow up on this at some point. Anyway, that's enough. I've taken enough of your time. You know the drill. Like, comment, follow, subscribe, whatever. Follow me on IG, and go Heat, baby. Peace.